Hello and welcome to episode 31 of Raw and Score, the trivia podcast designed for road trips, the drive to work, or why not challenge a stranger on the elevator. I am the Quizzard, and the podcast has been growing lately. I've been looking at the stats this week and 27 states in the US are listening. That's more than half the states. How has that happened? I've only just gotten Tasmania. There's one listener in Kentucky, and I think it must be the Colonel. I had exactly 0 listeners in the UK until very recently, and then suddenly heaps of people started listening in the UK. Weird. What happened? Apparently there's a few Russian listeners now, some Indian, Thai, Spanish, Irish, Serbian, and absolutely inexplicably one person from Nigeria. How on earth has that happened? The stats also say there's a small amount of listens in Greece, but I know it's just one of my friends on holiday. I'm going to claim it anyway. If you're an international listener, make sure you send me a score. It's much more exotic to say Jacques Wes from France scored 21 points than Davo from Broken Hill. We score out of 35 points on Raw and Score trivia with 20 single-point questions in the question round, a hard question worth 5 points, a bonus round worth 5 points, and a game that we play throughout the question round worth 5 points as well. This week we have a new game. It's called Quizzard Can't Count. In this game, you need to pay attention to what question number we're up to, because I'm going to get one of them wrong in the question round. For example, I might say question 10 when it's actually question 15. Your job is to just catch me doing that. If you do, you'll score 5 points. So, remember to listen out for a question counting mistake in the question round, which is starting now. Question 1. Which television show features the Iron Throne? Game of Thrones. Not a fan of the show, but the throne is cool as hell. Question 2. Apart from the United States, which country has the most McDonald's restaurants? It is Japan, with over 5,000 restaurants. I went to a Macca's there once and they legit had tablecloths on the tables. Very fancy. Question 3. What is the unit used to measure electrical resistance? It's the ohm. Also something you say when you meditate for some reason. Question 4. Which country has the capital city, Moscow? That is Russia. Question 5. What is the collective noun for a group of ships? You'd call it a fleet of ships. Question 6. Which date in 1918 did World War I end? It was November 11 at 11:11. I always think about all the people who probably died because they were waiting for a cool date and time to end the war on. Question 7. What type of cheese traditionally goes on a pizza? Mozzarella. Question 8. Name the 7 dwarves from Snow White and the 7 Dwarves. I'll give you a little bit of extra time for this one. Five more seconds. The 7 dwarves are Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey. Question 9. Skrillex, Flux Pavilion, and Excision are 3 big names of which electronic music genre? Dubstep. I based most of my personality on dubstep around the year 2010. Question 10. As of 2024, name the last 4 cities to have hosted the Olympic Games. It was Paris, Tokyo, Rio de Janeiro, and London. Question 11. In the Harry Potter series of books and movies, what is the name of Harry's pet owl? Hedwig. Question 12. What is the tallest mountain in the USA? Mount Denali. I've never heard of it. Question 14. How many rings appear in the logo for the Audi brand of cars? There are 4 rings, but did you pick up that was actually question 13, not 14? 5 points to you if you did. Well done. Real question 14. Who was the first wife of comedian Russell Brand? Katy Perry. In slightly related news, Russell Brand is now a baptized Christian, which is definitely at the very bottom of list of things I thought would ever happen. Question 15. Which organ in the human body is responsible for pumping blood? Not a trick question, it's the heart. Question 16. Apart from the word Pringles, what appears on the Pringles logo? A man with a moustache. Question 17. Which bird has the longest wingspan of any bird on Earth? It's the wandering albatross with wingspans over 3.5 metres. To put that in perspective, the world's smallest plane has a wingspan under half of that. Question 18. How many teeth does a typical adult human have? We have 32 teeth. Question 19. What is the national animal of Wales? It is the Welsh dragon. I'm not sure if Wales having a dragon or Scotland having a unicorn is cooler. Question 20. Months that begin on which day of the week will always have a Friday the 13th? Months that start on a Sunday will always have a Friday the 13th. All right, that's it for the question round. Did you pick up my little counting mistake? 5 points to you if you did. Coming up, we've got the really, really ridiculously hard question and the bonus round for this episode. This episode, the bonus round is Lost in Translation. Stay tuned for that. We're back. It's time for... The question so hard, Spotify have requested I censor it. The really ridiculously hard trivia question. Okay, I've got a hard question coming for you. You get 5 points if you can get it right. This one's for the Swifties. Taylor Swift is arguably the most famous musician in the world right now. What is her birthday? Include the year as well. Okay, lock in your answer. Taylor Swift's birthday is the 13th of December, 1989. 5 points to you if you got that right. And that brings us to the bonus round of the episode. This week's bonus round is Lost in Translation. For this game, I type some phrases into Google Translate it through a bunch of different languages, and then back into English, which kind of spits out a really messed up version of what I initially typed in. I'll tell you the translation that Google gave me, and your job is to guess what I originally typed in. This week, all of the phrases that I typed in are song titles. So your job is to guess what song name I typed into Google, translated through a bunch of different languages, and then back to English to get what I read out to you. Make sense? Great. Lost in Translation, starting now. Song number 1, Step in the Sun. Step in the Sun. That one was Walking on Sunshine. Question 2, The Summer of Violence. The Summer of Violence. Yet another one for the Swifties. It was Cruel Summer. I think The Summer of Violence is a way more metal song title, and I think that's what Taylor Swift needs. Song number 3, Earth Underground. Earth Underground. That one was The Land Down Under. This one really messed up Google Translate. A couple I had to throw aside because they were too obscure were It's Just Not a Castle and Low-Level Lizards. How on earth did that happen? Song number 4, An Eye with a Horn is Flying and Eating a Ghost. An eye with a horn is flying and eating a ghost. This one's a bit of a blast from the past. It was One-Eyed, One-Horned Flying Purple People Eater. And I only had to translate that one through one language to get that much of a mangled translation. Sort your stuff out, Google Translate. Song number 5, It's Like the Breath of a Teenager. It's like the breath of a teenager. That one was Smells Like Teen Spirit. I feel like Google Translate did not make it easy for us that round. A lot of them were really tricky. Thanks a lot, Google. Anyway, add whatever you got in that round to your total score, and that is it for the points this round. Don't forget, if you send me your score on Facebook or Instagram, I will give you a shout out at the end of a show. I can always tell when there's been a hard episode because the listener numbers are usually pretty high and the amount of scores that I get sent in are usually pretty low. This week I had a record amount of listeners and a grand total of 2 scores sent in compared to last week's 10. So, sorry for making the episode too hard, I suppose. But that means the 2 scores that I did get are going to get a bit of a nicer shout out today. First, we have the fantastic and good-looking Laura, who is really, really smart, and she played with her wonderful boyfriend, Robbie, who has a magnificent chin, a great beard, brown hair. What a specimen of a human being. They scored 21 points together. 21. It's not the highest score we've ever had in the world, but oh my god, 21 is just a fantastic score. Thank you guys for sending in your score. You did such a great job. And next we have the amazingly intelligent Rick. Rick always sends his scores drawn on a little document in his phone. He does little illustrations for questions and shows me which ones he got right and which ones he got wrong. And I really, really love that, Rick. You're the only listener who does that. And you're also very muscular in your physique. He got a 17. Thank you guys for sending in your score, and thanks everyone else for listening. I'll see you next week with another episode of Roar and Score. Bye-bye.